And Eala, it's been quite a thrill ride for her this last year as well. I feel like last year at this event, it was a little bit of a coming out party where she had some great results coming from a wild card position as well. So I think the international interest in both of them is so high, and Miami being such a sort of a cultural melting pot with so many of the international so much of the international flavor here. I think we're going to need them to be on center court. Because
James Blake, the Miami Open competition chief, has taken a strong and unmistakable step that is attracting attention across the tennis community. With the event approaching quickly, Blake confirmed that the emerging Filipino tennis talent, Alex Ayala, will compete on the largest stadium in the Miami Open, the famous Central Court. This choice, however, is not only about placing Ayala on the main platform. It also aims to make the Miami Open the center of global tennis this season, attracting the biggest audiences and increasing ticket purchases. Much of this excitement comes from the rapidly growing fame of Alex Ayala. Blake's announcement had been expected for quite some time. Although last season there were still uncertainties about the level of attention Ayala might receive, especially since she entered as a wildcard, the situation this season has changed completely. Ayala has now proven herself as one of the most exciting figures in tennis, with supporters worldwide watching everything she does. And James Blake, always an attentive observer, realized that the moment had arrived not only to welcome Ayala's expanding fan following, but also to showcase her in the most historic stadium in Miami. Blake admitted that he had rarely witnessed the kind of enthusiasm and backing that Ayala receives at such a young stage. "When I first watched her last season, we were uncertain about the influence she might create. But now it's obvious Alex is no longer simply an emerging player. She has become a true tennis legend," Blake explained, recalling her swift breakthrough.
Well beyond anything I could have dreamed of at that age.
James Blake was stunned by the massive crowd of supporters arriving to watch her compete, and he realized the Miami Open needed to take advantage of this wave of excitement. The choice to feature Ayala on the grandest court is not merely a promotional strategy. It also acknowledges her skill and the strong bond she shares with her supporters. The Miami Open, recognized as one of the most elite competitions on the ATP and WTA tours, has consistently drawn tennis enthusiasts. Yet with Ayala at the heart of the spotlight, Blake is expecting something extraordinary. A championship experience unlike anything the tournament has witnessed in recent years. Tennis racket and ball.
Where she had some great results coming from a wild card position as well. So I think the international interest in both of them is so high, and Miami being such a sort of a cultural melting pot with so many of the international so much of the international flavor here. I think we're going to need them to be on.
Alex Ayala's popularity has gone beyond the usual group of tennis supporters. James Blake understood that Miami, a city famous for its varied and multicultural community, is an ideal stage for Ayala to display her abilities. She enjoys an enormous fan base not only in the Philippines but throughout the world. From dedicated followers in Asia to supporters across Europe and North America, Ayala's success highlights the worldwide attraction of her playing style and character. Admirers are ready to do almost anything just to watch her compete, including standing in lengthy queues for tickets, hoping to catch a moment of their favorite star. This intense dedication has captured the attention of Blake and the Miami Open management. Blake admitted that during the previous year they were uncertain about the size of the audience Ayala might attract. Entering as a wild card created some doubt. However, after observing her stunning breakthrough displays, it has become obvious that Ayala's influence is impossible to ignore. Blake even mentioned that the Miami Open could potentially set new revenue milestones this season because of the worldwide spotlight Ayala will generate. The center court, usually reserved for the sport's biggest legends, will now host one of tennis's most thrilling young talents. Yet for Blake, this move goes beyond simply boosting ticket revenue. It is about highlighting an athlete who could represent the future face of tennis. Ayala's discipline, perseverance, and modest attitude have gained admiration not only from supporters but also from other competitors. Her rapid ascent has been extraordinary, and the Miami Open hopes to push her even further into the global spotlight. Blake's decision arrives while other tournaments, such as the Indian Wells Tennis Garden, are encountering difficulties of their own. Tommy Haas, the leader of Indian Wells, has been struggling to maintain excitement following Ayala's early departure from the competition. The sharp drop in ticket demand has forced Haas to consider urgent actions, including arranging special exhibition contests with Ayala to draw spectators again. His urgency clearly shows the powerful influence Ayala now holds within the tennis landscape. While Haas works hard to refill seats at his venue, Blake is moving ahead strategically to keep the Miami Open firmly at the center of the tennis world. Tennis racket and ball.
All the fans, or I'd say lack thereof of all the fans in Stadium 2 while Rybakina was playing. As you can see from videos and pictures, if we were to say that there are hundreds of people watching this match, that would...
Brazilian fans, I mean, that's what you kind of want, you know, you want that new atmosphere. Same for Ayala, having all the Philippine fans from coming, you know, to support her.
James Blake's daring decision also stands in sharp contrast to the WTA's disputed choice during the Australian Open, when Ayala was scheduled on smaller courts rather than the main stadium despite her rapidly expanding fan following. That move caused disappointment among Ayala's supporters, as countless fans waited in long queues hoping for an opportunity to watch their favorite star. The WTA's inability to fully acknowledge Ayala's growing fame only intensified her popularity, with fans becoming even more eager to witness her matches. What might have been viewed as a setback instead became a powerful moment of unity among her followers, further deepening their loyalty and strengthening her connection with them. By the time the 2026 Indian Wells tournament arrived, Ayala's influence was impossible to overlook. During her opening match, the demand for seats was so intense that ticket prices surged to extraordinary heights. Incredibly, revenue from a single match alone climbed to nearly $5 million, a remarkable milestone for someone so young. Ayala's achievements clearly demonstrate the powerful effect she is having on the sport of tennis. Her journey is not only about exceptional skill, but also about the immense enthusiasm and devotion she has inspired among supporters who are excited to watch her pursue greatness. Tennis racket and ball.
Get the feedback from the fans and then look ahead in the future and determine if we're going to continue that way or if we maybe go back to the other way. So that's still to be seen.
Even fellow competitors are amazed by what Ayala has accomplished. Jessica Pegula, one of the leading players on the WTA Tour, spoke about her experience of competing against Ayala during the Miami Open. Pegula explained that the environment felt unbelievable, highlighting the intense excitement throughout the stadium. "I've never witnessed anything similar," Pegula remarked. No matter which court she plays on, the support for Alex is extraordinary. She added that spectators are not simply watching the match, they feel every point alongside her. This level of passion is uncommon in tennis, and it plays a significant role in why Ayala's rise has been so dramatic and impactful. Tennis racket and ball.
Small of a court, we saw it here, you can hear it from the hotel, you can hear the crowd roaring, especially at night, so it's incredible.
James Blake understands that Eala's popularity is not just a temporary wave. She has turned into a worldwide sensation, and the Miami Open is ready to take advantage of that momentum. Her power to attract huge crowds and generate thrilling atmospheres wherever she competes is something rare, and Blake is determined to ensure the Miami Open sits right at the center of it. This moment is not only important for Eala, it is also an opportunity for the tournament to present itself as the stage where the next major tennis superstar truly emerges. As the competition begins in the coming days, all attention will be focused on Eala and her performance on center court. Blake has prepared the ground for an unforgettable Miami Open, one that could be remembered as the event where Eala officially introduced herself as one of tennis's most brilliant talents. For Blake and the Miami Open organizers, placing Eala in the largest stadium is not simply about accommodating her supporters. It is about acknowledging the scale of her accomplishments and making sure the world witnesses it unfold on the biggest stage possible. The excitement surrounding Eala is only starting to grow, and with the Miami Open embracing her as its main attraction, this edition of the tournament could easily become one for the history books. Blake's daring decision helps guarantee that Miami remains at the forefront of global tennis, and the most exciting part is that Eala's journey is still just beginning. What are your thoughts about Blake's choice to place Eala on the biggest court at the Miami Open? Do you support his bold strategy to use her rising fame, or do you think the spotlight is arriving too early? How do you view the contrast between Miami Open's forward-thinking approach and the difficulties faced by events like the Indian Wells Open? Is Eala's rise the start of a new chapter in tennis, or simply temporary hype? Share your opinion in the comments. tennis racket and ball.